Part 3, everyone. Welcome. We decided to stay here because we're going to be talking about hydration and boiling water. Tyler was like, "Oh boy, boil that water in that monster can right there." And I'm like, "Yep, do that." So we'll jump into that in just a sec. Check out Tyler's YouTube channels that he collabs with, which would be
TJX Survival, Survival Dispatch, Surviveopedia, and TJXSurvival.com.
Yep, and he'll keep that site with a calendar for...
Yeah, I've got a calendar of events, classes I'm teaching, places I'll be. I put my friends' events. If you guys have events, I try to just have a central repository that you can subscribe to on a Google Calendar. You can get it on your phone, however you want to do it.
Cool. Did you also say that there was an Arizona class coming up?
Yeah, there's an Arizona class coming in March. A friend of mine, Tony Pike, is running the class. David Holliday will be there. For any of you who know who he is, he was the consultant for Les Stroud, Bear Grylls.
Oh, no shit.
One of Cody Lundeen, Matt Graham's instructor, boss instructor.
So he's a big name.
Okay.
He is the OG of OGs for, I would argue, he is the #1. Like, if you want a desert instructor, I don't know anyone better.
Okay.
So
check that out. That's March. This content's out by then, so you guys have no excuse not to go. And then on our end, if you need anything, let us know. I'm just going to say, you know the deal. If you've been watching this channel for a minute, you know the deal. Shit's down in the description. Let us know if you need help with anything.
If you don't know the deal, watch a previous video. Let's go.
You'll figure it out. So let's talk hydration.
Okay. Slink up here a little bit. All right, so you got fire, you got shelter, you're off the ground. The next thing is water. Now I'm going to be at least 3 days before I die without water. But I'm going to be pretty cranky by tomorrow if I don't have water, right? I can eat snow, not the yellow stuff. Also, if you see snow with like a red mist across the top of it, that's going to wreck you. Don't eat that, right? There's some pollen and some things you don't want to eat. I carry a clean canteen, clean with a K. Not sponsored by them, they just work.
They're also pro Second Amendment, I believe.
Probably, they should be. If they're not, then I'll change that.
I'm pretty sure they are.
But clean canteen, this one's been boiled quite a lot. I actually used the ash to clean it, so I scrubbed it clean. But it's a single wall canteen. This is a half a gallon. I see these people that want to bring like a cup, little canteen cup. Do you know how many times you got to boil that before you get a gallon?
Yep.
16 cups of boiling. And you're not going to get the whole thing, so it's probably more like
32.
Yeah.
It'd be double, wouldn't it?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or you boil this once in the morning and the evening and you got enough water all day long.
I definitely don't have one of those cups in my vehicle survival bag, so that's cool.
This is like the fail-safe fallback, loaded up with a half a gallon. When you go out and drink it as you're there, tie it to a string, stick it in the river. It's going to be cold the next morning. I will drink it during the day, make a stew of it in the evening with some like pine tips and wild edibles on it. Then I've got vitamin C and water, and that's a full gallon. And then after that stew, I'll reload it with water and stick it in the creek. Unless it's freezing cold, I've got this ice cold, great tasting half a gallon for tomorrow. And just do that every day. You boil in the morning, you boil in the evening, and you're done.
Okay.
Right? So humans leave trash everywhere, right? And I have drank out of old beer bottles and pop cans and all sorts of stuff. You can boil out of a lot of that stuff. Beer bottles will break pretty quickly. A can like this is pretty golden though. So what you're gonna do, I'm gonna go close up on this guy.
Please tell me that was a pun.
Because it is a golden can.
I didn't even do that on purpose.
Money.
Damn.
Normally my dad jokes are planned, like what side of the duck has the most feathers? It's the outside. Okay, so what you're gonna do here,
So bad.
It's horrible. That's bad. This little lid, you can do it as it is, but I like to just kind of press my thumb down there and then twist it.
Like when you make a spitter?
Yeah, basically, only you don't want to take the nubbin off, right? So open it up, and then this little, I don't even know what this thing's called. I'm going to call it the nubbin.
The tab.
Yeah, the tab.
Top tab will rotate out.
Yeah, it's kind of
tie
hanging
a string
up.
to it.
You can rotate it out and twist it like this. It's kind of hanging up a little bit. Doesn't always want to work the way you want to plan. But now what I've done is I've opened it up so I can put crap in it, and then I can put a piece of string on there and I can hang it, right? Now here, if you've got a little bit of water, start with that, because it's going to burn your can. And aluminum will melt eventually.
Yeah.
If you don't have any water, you're just going to pack this with ice first, snow secondary, right? I've got water, but I'm going to still start the process, so we'll, I don't know, pretend like I don't have this thing, and all I have is a little bit of creek water. Man, that lid's on there tight. Hold that for a sec.
Yeah, because that creek water is gonna, get sanitary as it's boiling.
Yeah,
right?
so let's talk
no
about that.
giardia or anything like that.
So everything's pasteurized at 156 degrees. Pasteurization is the death of microbes. Everything except for microbes in the bottom of like the Yellowstone caldera. Don't drink out of the Yellowstone caldera and you're okay with
Pretty easy.
Yeah, no heat resistant microbes. So if it's above 156 degrees, it's dead. The problem is when boiling starts, the bottom is above 160 degrees. The stuff that goes up to the top is above 156 degrees, but the stuff in the middle is not. So everyone's like, oh, boil it for 15 minutes or whatever. No, that's just stupid. As soon as you're having a rolling boil where the water from the bottom goes up to the water from the top, everything's over 200 degrees.
Okay.
Because it takes 2 something, depending on altitude, for all water to boil.
Okay.
Once it's boiled, it's good to drink. You don't need to sit there and boil it for 10 minutes. You boil that for 10 minutes, you're not going to have any water left.
Yeah, you're losing water the more you boil it.
This is spring water from Boulder Mountain. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of water in it. Just enough to get the process started. Pack that puppy full of snow. And then we're just going to stick it in the side of the fire. I could build a rig where I hang it above the fire and raise it and lower it. I can do all that stuff, and that's cool, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the reality is all I need to do is stick it in there until the heat melts the snow, and then I can drink it. Now, there is no biological contaminants in this, right?
Well, I backwash a little bit.
Other than that, So I'm just going to stick it right here. Kind of lean up there so she doesn't tip. And then it's just going to melt the snow. And as it melts, I pull it off and I add to it. Now, do you guys have a shamog or anything like that? I've got one in there.
I don't.
And I'll show you something else that's cool.
Oh, to use as a filter?
No, to get that hot metal object off the fire.
Oh, gotcha.
That little tap that I used, it didn't quite have the hole in the back like they normally do. But what you can do is you can just get a stick, poke it in there, and pull it out, right? So if this has been going for a while, I'm just going to poke it on the edge, take it out this way. Or this tab, the goal was, because you see there's no hole right there. The goal is just to have access to it so that I've got a holder. Now I'm not going to burn myself. If I have a shamog or a
Pot holder.
yeah, basic pot holder. If I've got
Good job, Kate.
you got a handkerchief with no water in it, you just fold it around, grab it, and set it down and let go quick. If it's got water in the handkerchief and it's wet, when you touch it, it'll flash boil and it'll burn you.
Okay.
So it's got to be a dry handkerchief. You can grab just about anything with a dry piece of cloth. I could take these dudes off like this, right? As long as they're dry. These are synthetic, so it's not ideal. You want to use cotton. Grab it, set it down, and stop it. And when it's sitting in the snow now, smoking me good. When it's sitting in the snow and it dries off. So water in winter is easy. Just use snow, right? Stay away from the red snow. Pull it right out of a creek. If you get it out of the creek, boil it. If you're worried about, boil it. Otherwise, eat snow, pull it straight from the snow. There's an old misnomer that you cannot eat snow. However, there's entire multiple generations of Inuit, Tlingit, and Eskimo that grew up in the Arctic North where there was no water sources that lived for generations. Eating snow will not kill you. If you're cold, stop eating snow. If you're not cold, eat snow. It's that simple.
Can you reiterate what you said earlier in case people didn't see that part of the first video, which was on the volume of snow that you have to consume?
This is super important. This snow right here is 90% air, okay? That means I need 9 gallons of this to make 1 gallon of water. So either I can compress this stuff, grab ice, take it straight from a creek, do what I can to grab it, but this is a fairly constant process. If all you have is this light snow, you're going to have to keep on adding it again and again and again until it melts and fills that thing up. It is very time consuming. So if you know you're going to be in an actual survival situation, or if you want to prepare against that, a big old pot,
huh?
big old pot
Yeah.
with the lid. Okay?
Yeah.
I spent a week in the Uintas and got sick because our filter broke. The pan that I had, I lost the lid, and I was literally using a pan to just melt snow, and the ash was falling in it. I was pooping like every 3
shit.
hours, and it
Oh,
was
wow.
just because of the ash that was going in the
Damn.
water.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
So
Very good point. Huh.
Some things you learn the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shit. Pretty succinct and pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Boil
Yeah.
water,
That's cool.
eat snow.
Yeah.
If you get it out of the creek, boil it, especially if there's a beaver in there.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well,
Hate those beavers, man.
We're about the beaver. So
I don't know, they're tasty.
I do. You know, I've heard
There's a
beaver
lot of
tail
fat
is
in their
really,
tail.
really good. Yeah.
Beaver tail mixed with meat is outstanding.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, it's a treat.
that
That's
sounds
some
tasty.
podcasts I listen to talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, rock and roll, everyone. That's part 3.
Part tres.
Chris will drink all of that from the monster can
ready.
in between.
Go ahead, Jake.
And then, we'll do it on the break here. But
Oh
we
my
got part
gosh.
4.
Watch this right here.
Dude, it hasn't boiled.
That's all right, because it's not bad because it came from snow.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Go ahead,
If I
Jake.
brought
Take a
that
swig
in
of
the
that.
creek,
I don't drink out
I
of
would
another
wait
man's
till the
can.
tea.
Jake, take a swig. Do it for the viewers, you son of a bitch.
It's pretty good, isn't it? Nice and cool.
Tastes like water with a little bit of pineapple monster in it.
Probably a little bit of like dirt and some gravel.
Tad bit of monster.
That's not good at all.
I could live on it though.
If you're 3 days deep and you're thirsty, that's amazing right there.
All right, guys. We'll see you part 4 shortly. Take care.
Thanks again.